today's episode is something that we all don't care 100% much about. But it's taxes. Well, pre-taxes, not pre-tax, but pre-tax conversation, because next week will be Brian, and I just can't wait to pound him with a bunch of questions.
We're promoting taxes today.
Yeah.
We're getting
Today's
excited
like our
about
opinion on taxes and philosophies and concepts, and then next week the expert comes in and we just hound him with questions.
Perfect.
On not live, but like live in front of him, because I'm not prepping him. I don't like prepping him, and it makes him sweat.
Flustered.
It's awesome. So taxes. Today's all about them taxes. It's kind of tax season, right? You know, everyone's should have gotten their W-2s or 1099s at this point, or at least they're flowing in via snail mail. And it's time. It's time to really figure out how much you're going to pay in taxes. So
this is the time of year I get the most mail.
Absolutely.
I get excited. I'm like, I have things in my mailbox. Yes. Oh, wait.
I paid.
Does that make you excited to open them up, though?
Well,
That's the real
right.
question.
I get excited about, like, my mailbox is full, and then I'm like, oh.
Document on document. I spent what?
There it is.
Yeah.
Like, I had one come in today, and I'm not going to name where the company it went from because I don't understand, but I was paying for 2 months for health insurance that I never needed. I was like, cool, here's my 1095C. Oh, well, there's $500. I didn't know that was possible. I don't know. Only place I have it's through my wife's work, so I don't know where it came from, whatever contract we had, but all of a sudden I had double insurance, which I didn't know of, which would have been cool. But gotta love tax docs. So Brian, you'll be writing that off 100%.
How does that even happen?
I don't know, man. I don't understand.
I don't want to wrap my head around that.
That's not our job.
My brain early.
Exactly. We're about opinions and our opinions only. Opinions, not facts, but close. All right. So let's start. This time of the year, everyone's gathering docs. So let's actually walk through some of those docs that we need to get. We being planners, right? But also individuals out there that aren't necessarily have a planner or an advisor or accountant, and walk through some of the ones that people don't think of or don't think to grab. Okay, this is gonna be an open forum today, like a Q&A.
My checklist,
right? A little Q&A. We will blast a checklist next week with Brian.
Yeah, that'll be good.
We'll definitely have that out there on the
there.
socials. But for us, right? What are the ones that we think of as planners that are important to getting in front of someone's accountant?
First one and most common W-2.
Yeah, I mean, sure, take the easy.
Hey, that's fine.
That I've already said.
Hey, you said which ones, so I took low-hanging fruit right there.
You did. Anyone else?
1099s.
Oh, Jesus.
Are we starting
How about a
easy?
1095?
There you go.
Yeah, there we go.
All three of the ones that I've already mentioned. Thanks, team.
We've just been
Here for you,
listening.
Stoy.
We've
How
been
about
listening
ones
to
that you might not get in the mail, like your mortgage? Sometimes those are e-delivered, so you have to log in and download those, right?
Yep.
Your statements from any of your investments. Sometimes you just have to log in and grab those. Don't forget to log in and grab those, right?
charity?
Business owners' bank account statements or credit card statements for those expenses.
Yeah. That's
Student loan interest.
student loan interest.
There we go.
Right? Which, thankfully we don't have to pay those right now. Oh,
Right.
that's great.
I just got one. My daycare, what I spent last year.
Yeah.
Oh.
There we go.
That felt really good.
There we go.
There's a daycare one.
That felt really good.
Your tags for your car.
Oh yeah, your tags.
Don't forget that one, right? Property taxes. Don't forget those. Those are ones that
Oh,
usually-
I can't believe I didn't think of that. I just wrote a big check for
See?
that. Property tax are due in Texas in January. So yeah.
Ew. Ours are March. It's not
that's
like it's
right.
much better. Mars is March and September. It's not like it's like, woohoo, March. Oh, yeah, the tax bill. And then the tax bill. Awesome. Fantastic. So,
Also, charity. So if you've given to charity
Yes.
throughout the year, you may get a letter or you've made notes about it. You need to grab those potentially.
yeah, it definitely
Okay,
makes
so that's really important because I donate to some places that you have to get the slip from them when you drop off. So you should make sure that you keep those in a safe place. That's a year-round thing though, but yeah.
Yes. And even if they don't have a slip, there's a lot of charities that just don't, right? They don't issue that. The IRS does have their own form, and they do have their own accountant of like, hey, a shirt is like $2. Like, so there is a form out there that you can fill out yourself. But I think all of the reason I asked those questions is because of like how many different things did we just throw out there in like 2 minutes? A
Yeah.
lot, right?
A lot.
Because the taxes are a lot. So I want to put this out here for, when do you believe someone should hire an accountant, CPA, or an enrolled agent?
I mean,
When do you think they should?
realistically, prior to the first of the year for me.
No. Not timing.
Oh.
When someone's financial well-being
Okay.
is to the point where
I
it
thought
needs
you
to be.
went timing
Good try,
wise.
Ryan.
Hey, I was going timing wise. I'm like, hey.
I think it's
No.
when you start to get layers of complexity. And so like I think it's different for each age group. So I do my dad's taxes, right? I'm responsible for taking care of his stuff. I need somebody to help me with that. Even though he's technically an easy 1040, I still want somebody to look at that with me because there's all kinds of health deductions and things that need to be accounted for there. And I don't know if I'm getting them all or not. So that's why I hire somebody to help me with that. Same thing with individuals, right? If you have a W-2 and you're a minor, they're probably pretty easy, but there's still some deductions there you might not be taking that you could be eligible for.
Yeah, I think to make it simple is if you have any 1099 income, right? You get a W-2 and 1099, hire an accountant. If you are just a W-2 person and all of a sudden you inherit money, you have some type of dependent like a parent or have your own children, again, hire a CPA or an accountant or enrolled, but any one of those at this point. Because that's that first step of complexity that will open up things that you probably just wouldn't have known at all, actually. Otherwise, go to H&R Block or TurboTax online or something like that if you're just a simple W-2 with no complexities in life, which is nice too, to be that simple. I would love to be simple right now.
I miss those days.
All right.
Those days are long gone, huh?
Long gone trying to do
Well, I think business owner, I mean, that gets into a whole another level of
Oh, yeah.
complexity, which
Yes.
correct.
you are.
Or
There's lots of
several
layers. And
businesses.
several
Several
businesses.
businesses.
So there gets to be lots of layers and
And you have to sit for hours trying to figure it out.
figure it out.
It's not our job.
Nope.
Not our job. Let me ask you guys this. In your opinion, should you get a tax refund or no?
No.
It's a
No.
trick question.
It's not a trick question.
No, just kidding.
100% no. Why would you want a tax refund?
'Cause it feels good.
Let's go through the experiences that we've had with clients and just people in general. When they get a tax refund and we say you shouldn't and they say, no, I want one. What do you think the mindset is behind receiving a refund? And I mean like the normal W-2 people, not the ones that have a really great CPA that end up getting a refund. I mean the ones that like just traditionally go after those.
I mean, it almost feels like a mid-year bonus or something extra coming in that you shouldn't count on, but you think about it. If you've gotten it in the past, you think, okay, potentially again this year, I'm going to get some extra money around April. I can put it towards X.
Right. Lindsay, you were going to say something?
I was going to say the exact same thing, that people think it's a bonus.
Yeah. They think it's someone else's money. The government's giving them money. But what's the truth?
It's just your money that the government's been holding on to.
That's a fact, by the way.
Interest-free.
I know
Interest-free loan that the government's getting from us.
Right. But what happens if you don't pay your taxes and you do owe? Guess what happens? You get a late fee and a penalty of interest immediately.
Yeah.
So if you don't pay on time, you have to pay extra. If they don't give you a refund in time, guess what happens? Nothing. You just get it eventually. Right? So you are giving the government all year round, by the way, tax-free loan on your money. Does that feel good?
It sounds like an abusive relationship to me.
Right? But people love having this big chunk of money, and you don't want that. You want to do zero or at least owe them a little bit, right? You don't want to owe them a ton because
Yeah, you don't want to owe them a lot.
you don't want
That doesn't feel good.
most
either.
people don't plan for that later unless you're a business owner. But outside of that, you want to be as close to zero as possible because then you're winning. Now, it's going to be asked, well, how do I make sure that I'm close to zero, right? Do you guys have an idea of how someone can adjust their paycheck today to equate to get to that number 0 or close to?
W-4 adjustments with their dependents.
What is a W-4 adjustment? You don't have to get into details. That's not our job. But what is that?
Claiming more dependents on your taxes. So a lot of people that we'll run into with children, they'll have one and then they'll only put one on there, or they're still claiming 0 and they might have 3 or 4 kids.
Yes. And that question on there, dependent, is about the household.
Correct.
So your spouse technically counts as another one.
Yep.
Right? Or for Lindsay, her father probably counts as another one. So you want to have more on there. The more you have, the less taxes get taken out, correct?
Correct.
Which means the cash flow per month on your paycheck goes up. Well, that's all it is at the end of the year, is you just put too much into taxes, and so they give it to you at the end of the year. And most people end up blowing it. Cars, tattoos, trips. Like, it's a true thing.
No, I know.
Well, that's very true.
So very true.
Gambling, sports betting.
On your own money that you're just going to waste.
Yeah.
When if it's on a month-to-month deal, right, you're probably going to utilize it for something hopefully better, your financial plan, some investment, and hopefully just not wasted. So what can you say to the audience that are out there that are getting these big refunds? I mean, I've seen some at 6 and 7, and I about cried for them.
6 and 7 what?
$1,000
Got it.
refund. Not to mention, like, the last 2 years they've been late because, well, there's just a lot, and the IRS has to hire more people. Outside of that, what are some things that you can say to help people overcome this mindset?
Well, I mean, I think the first thing, and we were talking about those adjustments, and I'll kind of go back a little bit, is you don't have to just say, oh, well, I just have to choose this and it automatically happens. You can ask your HR, hey, what does it look like if I claimed this many more dependents or this many more dependents? And you can get those numbers and bring them back to your tax professional, bring them back to your planner, so then you guys can plan accordingly and get that number as close to 0. You don't just have to dive in head first and with no knowledge of what it's going to look like in the future.
Ladies?
I love it. Sorry. I was just thinking, so I'm still trying to understand this. So dependents, because I just want to make sure the audience knows this. So I think the first thing you think of is kids, but you guys are saying you have another person in the house, you could add them in the house as a dependent.
It's actually about the household, and really it's a fictitious number. You can put 6, 7 in there, even if you have
you could
2.
add that up. I think that's where people maybe get stuck and say, I have only one kid.
Right.
I have 2 kids. I don't have any kids.
But there's 3 people in
But
your
there's
household.
another person in my household, so they haven't been thinking in that regard.
Well, they also forget about themselves, because it's about the amount of people in your household.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's dependent on, right? It's not the true definition of like dependent. It's who in the household is dependent on the income, and it's everybody.
So I think that's kind of the first mindset shift I would see. Think about it in a different way.
Sure. Lindsay, what's your opinion or fact? I don't care. Throw a fact out there. I guarantee. God, compliance is going to eat me for that one.
Yeah, they totally are. So what was the question again?
What can you do or say to help people overcome this mindset of, hey, refund, yay, it's March or April or May or June when I get it?
Yeah, so I think one of the biggest things is obviously cash flow is super important to most people, right? So when you think about that, this is a quick and easy way to put cash flow back into your household, right? So, I mean, it's not going to, I guess it largely depends on what you make, right? It may not be a significant amount of cash, but in some cases it could be, especially if you're somebody that is a W-2 employee and you're claiming 0, I would definitely take a look at that and changing your W-4 deductions, because that can make a pretty big impact in your household and your cash flow every month. Me personally, I'd rather have the cash flow every month than let the government use my money. So,
right. I mean, and that's one, your personal opinion, but also your professional opinion, because when we have more cash flow to build your plan, the better it is for you, right? We're not trying to do better for the government when it comes to your personal stuff. And I believe this comes back to our concept of we need to create more income and quit focusing so much on the expenses, right? This is a very easy one because you're not really even creating more income. You're creating more cash flow and actually using your income as opposed to, letting someone else use it for a very, very, very long time. And then you see it as a bonus, and then the bonus gets thrown away, right? Yes, a bonus, we would agree in some people's plans, part of your bonus should be for fun. This is not a bonus. This is your income, and this is what you depend on a monthly basis. So you need to change and transition how you look at this as it is actually your income, not play money, first of all.
Mm-hmm.
And second of all, you need to get as much of it now so that way you can build out and get ahead. And I think you're 100% right, Lindsay, on if you're claiming 0 or even 1, and even if you're an individual without kids, think about 2, 3, or 4. And the reason for that is because you're probably living paycheck to paycheck, right? Well, technically you are. We all are. But you're really living below your means probably. That little transition could be as much as 50 or what was one of our clients that we did? It was like $500-$600 a month for them doing it. It could be $50 a paycheck, $500 a paycheck. $100 a month goes a long way in getting ahead. Again, that is the mindset around getting more cash flow, but you also still have to take advantage of your money mindset overall, so that way you don't get that 100 and then go waste it.
Well, and I think some people, to go along with like the claiming 0, claiming 1, I think in the case that you're talking about, they were just more nervous that they were going to have to pay into taxes at tax time.
Right.
So people get so nervous around those that they don't want to claim as many dependents. So then they're like, well, if I get a refund, great, because that means that I don't have to give the government more money when it comes to tax time.
Yeah, you're right.
So I have a question.
Oh, she's stepping up.
I am stepping up. So what happens when I get my big bonus check every month? Should I adjust my W-4 deductions at that time also?
Yeah, absolutely. If you have, like, say, for example, it's February. We got a client that always gets a big bonus at the end of February, beginning of March. That's when it comes, right? This would be a very great time to up your dependence on your W-4 so you get more of that bonus now and not more taken out on taxes of it. I think that's a very good point there.
And you can adjust these at any time of the year.
Well, it depends on your HR, but typically, like, every paycheck you could if you really wanted to. I know I've seen some that you only can adjust monthly, some are quarterly, but that's going to depend on your company.
But it's easy to make that change.
Yeah.
It's not challenging.
No, it's really easy.
Yeah. Lindsay, no, that's a great point, bringing up bonuses, because people see this massive bonus, but then they also see this huge tax liability that comes with it. So that's a great point in bringing that up.
So taxes. I can't. They're not good. It's not fun. But we do want everyone to know that we are going to have the expert on next week.
Yeah.
So if you do have questions, email them in, tweet us, all the things that Ryan will talk about later with the socials, and we'll be sure to ask him those specific questions. Now, if it's pertinent to your numbers and your financial situation, we're probably going to answer more vaguely because, well, one, compliance. And two, everyone's situation is different, right?
Privacy.
Yeah, privacy issues. At least it's not HIPAA. We're not breaking HIPAA, so that's good.
No.
But we'll ensure to do that as well.
Yeah. No, I'm actually excited to get Brian on here, and just for the fact that he's very, very different than a lot of tax professionals and CPAs and, enrolled agents, whatever you want to call them. He's very, very different. So I'm excited to hear some of those thought processes and how he's working with clients to, maximize deductions, pay as little in taxes as possible, because he wants to use that code for us, not for the government.
Absolutely. And I think if we think about the big concept of taxes, right? Taxes are supposed to be for roads, schools, fire, police, all of those things, right? And I truly believe as Americans that we want those. We care for those. We're not saying that we're not trying to pay for those, right? That's not what we're saying. What we're saying is the United States tax code is complex. I don't even know if that's a strong enough word. I really don't know a strong enough word for how complex ours is. But a lot of it comes down to the programs that a lot of people would rather put their money towards and decide for themselves, right? In America, we can do a lot of things for ourselves and decide for ourselves. And that freedom is why a lot of people say, I don't want to pay as much in taxes because I would rather determine where my dollar goes than our government putting it toward things that I don't believe in. And we're lucky enough to be free to do that. But I want everyone to know that, like, your property taxes still go to pay for schools and all of that. Like, that's still there. You're not getting out from that. That's not just going to disappear and all of a sudden, we're not going to have schools anymore. Because that's, what a lot of our property taxes are for. But I think it's important for people to understand that and realize that what we're talking about isn't that stuff.
Correct.
But it's reducing that so you can do something with your own dollar and you are in control. There's nothing to be scared of with the IRS. And that's something I've learned a lot immensely in the last 4 or 5 years specifically with Brian is you might get a notice in the mail, which I got like 4 last year. Remember those? For no
What
reason.
did they say?
You owe this.
Oh, okay.
You owe that. We don't have this documentation. And yet everything that we've sent is factual, right? The reason for that is IRS is very automated because there's way too many people and not enough people working for the IRS, right? And so a lot of things are just automated. And you're going to get a lot of automated things, and it scares people. And they'll just send the money, right? One, that's another reason to have an accountant, by the way. Because if
Don't just send the money.
Don't just send... Never. Just send... Well, don't... Well, I mean, unless it's to us. Just send
Okay.
it. But truthfully, just don't do that because if you have an accountant, you can just be like, hey... And they'll be like, it's just an automatic no. So don't worry about it. If you get another one, don't worry about it. If you get a third one, okay... Well, let's call it.
Third time's a charm.
And that's
That's
exactly
how the IRS asks questions. I think that's the most important thing to know. Like, they're not going to pick up the phone and be like, "Hey, Lindsay."
Right.
Yeah.
They have to send you a letter.
They do, and then you call in and figure it out. And it's usually not as bad as you think. Even the ones that you get that say you owe this much in like fees because you haven't responded or you didn't pay your taxes in 2020 when you clearly did. That happened to me. And so you just prove it. You say, hey, here's a snapshot of my bank account. I paid you. And all goes away. And all of those reversed fees, they're not there.
And then they give you money back, right?
And then all of a sudden you get a check. And you're like, I don't know what happened. I thought I owed you. But then okay, never mind. I'm going to let you do what you do, IRS.
Yeah.
We're just going to keep track of it and send in the things to verify. But it's very important that for those complexities, right, just people who have one child, that you do have a CPA because when that happens, their job is to go fight the IRS for you because they're the ones who came up with these concepts, wrote it out. They have liability there too, and they can defend you because you're not the expert, nor should you be, nor will we
they'll
be.
also help you keep records. I think that's important too.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. You should see this office with all the paper and all the cloud
All the
storage
folders.
and all the folders of just like years and years and years of stuff. And you're like, oh.
Lindsay, you made a good point there, and this is kind of a little bit off kiltered, but the IRS isn't going to call you guys. So if you do get one of those calls and somebody's asking for your social security number and random stuff like that,
Please don't do that.
don't do that. Some people, I've heard of people in the past saying, hey, yeah, I gave out this I gave out this information on accident, did this on accident, and it's just identity theft stuff. So the IRS is not going to call you guys. Just fair warning on that.
Oh yeah, there's a lot of scams out there
Absolutely.
growing.
I think on their website it even says we won't call you. So let's just follow what they say.
Yeah.
Don't be scared of them, right? And that goes for a lot of audits. I know I'm speaking to a lot of this is very blanket statement with audits.
Oh, yeah.
Audits aren't designed to be scared. They're designed to get you right back on track. Kind of like when we do budgets for people. It's not designed to scare you. It's designed to keep you on track within parameters that don't give you off kilter. And, well, the audit's for doing illegal things. For us, it's not, well, I guess technically illegal. Don't spend your money on stupid things. Same thing. But I think that's where the mindset we got to get everyone into is all of these programs are designed to help you get ahead if you stay within boundaries, fraud boundaries, legal boundaries, or scrupulous spending habits, right? So, one final thought from everyone. It can be not even about taxes. It can be about anything at this point. What final thought do you have to end today's episode?
We haven't plugged it yet, so get a planner.
Oh, yeah.
We haven't plugged it yet.
Get a planner. Get an
And a
accountant.
tax person.
If you want to go back as well, since she gets to be in every single episode that we ever mention and talk about hiring professionals, shout out Cheryl.
There you go.
She'll talk about hiring professionals and the importance of hiring professionals. So that'll be a good episode to listen to as well to supplement with this.
For sure. For sure. We got to go like 100%. We got to do this
Oh,
for
yeah.
years.
Oh, yeah.
Episode 2000. At
Plug in
Cheryl. Cheryl.
I think I'm going to leave today feeling better about taxes. 'Cause taxes, I don't get good feelings about taxes. Just something I wanted to avoid, which I feel like a lot of people think the same thing. So I'm going to leave today having a better mindset about taxes, being more proactive, more conversations, thinking about ways I can reduce what I need to reduce so I can take home more pay and send that to the audience so they can start that journey too.
I know this is the wrap up portion of this, but I am going to say this. You should hire a professional. And when you hire that professional, you should send that professional your last at least 2 years worth of tax returns to see if they can help you with some of your previous tax returns to make some changes and adjustments for you. And please know that the IRS is not scary. They're just doing their job. They have a job to do. Just like you and I go to work every day. We have a job to do. That's what they do.
Absolutely. And I'll leave everyone with, I'm just going to go back to money mindset. To create more income, focus on creating more income. Stop being so stuck on your expenses and not bringing in enough and not having avenues. Really focus on bringing in more income, as simple as changing your W-4 or hiring someone. I know it's an expense, but hiring a professional, i.e. planners like us, because we're awesome, will help you start to build towards that. And to make sure that you're not in that mindset of avoiding taxes, which is a federal offense. Jail time. Learned that one last
Well, I
week.
didn't mean avoid. I just meant
You said-
mentally
you
I
said
was
avoid.
avoiding.
You said
I
avoid.
did say avoid.
Okay,
said
I'm
avoid.
clarifying.
Just said avoid.
I'm clarified.
IRS.
No.
I'm not saying it out loud. I'm just saying that someone said avoid taxes in the same sentence. To really change that, really focus hard on being able to flip that switch. And if you need help, obviously we're here. Listen to our podcast, follow our socials, all of those things, because that mindset, once you switch that, will start to change your life and you will go places that you never thought you could. Ryan?
As always, everybody, we appreciate you. Like, subscribe, follow, share on basically everything social media, YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever you guys listen to podcasts, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, all the above. You'll see some reels as well. And this episode will come out next Wednesday. So I don't know what Wednesday this is. It's February. It's the 7th of February right now. So not
The
this Wednesday,
16th.
but the next one.
The 16th. It'll
Yeah.
come out on Wednesday the 16th.
Right
Yep.
after Valentine's Day. It's
Yeah.
And
perfect.
then
Love and
stay tuned for
taxes.
next week with this taxes. We're just plugging Brian in right now. He's going to be on next week, and he's going to go through all the fun things with you.
You know what's really great is we're bringing Brian in on Valentine's
That's what I'm
Day
saying, it's
because
like
he
love.
loves taxes. Do you get it?
Love.
See what we did there on purpose?
Ba-dum-bum.
Right? I need some more buttons that have something to do with Yeah, okay.
Please
Like
send us your
hearts
questions.
bursting.
Yes,
In the
yes,
stream.
absolutely. That's a good point, Lindsay. Send us questions, email us, comment in comment sections, DM us, whatever you need to do to get those questions for us next week. We'll be sure to try and ask them and be as inconspicuous as possible with names and everything like that. And if there's some numbers, maybe we'll do an example if possible. But just let us know what you guys have questions on.
All right. So.